Renacci for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Corzine, MF Global had a history of compliance failures, internal control problems, incomplete disclosures. With all of that, when you took over, did you have any effort, did you take any effort to look at enhancing internal controls in the company?
As I responded, I think, to Mr. King, or Congressman King, we had broadened out our compliance activities. We brought in consultants.
So you were trying to enhance internal controls?
Yes.
So you do understand internal controls?
You, as a CEO, have to sign the Sarbanes-Oxley
right.
verification that you have policies and procedures and people in place.
And you have to understand internal controls to sign that, correct?
You have to have the assurance that you can rely on those things that happen, and you need to be able to have those tested by auditors and others.
I agree. So you'd have to understand it to sign it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to sign that, correct?
You do, but you can't be as detailed, as experienced, and in the execution of that as someone who might have a specialty in some of those areas.
I understand. As part of your internal control procedures, who made the decision to allow you complete authority over trades in which only the board of directors could block? That's a pretty significant internal control issue.
Any of the trades that I think you're speaking to, the European sovereign trades that were repoed to maturity, were in the context of limits established after debate and discussion at the boards.
But you do agree the board was the only one who, the board of which you were chairman was the only group that could block your trades?
They certainly could have blocked them up to the limits unless we got authority to go beyond those limits, which we did.
But they were the only ones that could block it, yes or no? There was nobody else in the company that could block those trades. The board could block them.
The board could block them, yes, sir.
Right. So no matter what anybody said below that, and I go back to Mr. Pierce's questions for you. Mr. Roseman raised serious concerns. Mr. Stockman raised serious concerns. And it's another interesting thing on internal controls. When Mr. Stockman took over, someone took away his authority to determine the liquidated risks of trades you were making. Who did that? Was that you, or was that the board, or was that the board based on your recommendation?
Congressman, I'm not aware of anyone taking away authority from Mr. Stockman, and in fact, I would think that we broadened his authorities.
But clearly he had no authority to stop you from making trades because everything rolled back up to the board. He could, when he went to the board, they didn't really, it was up to the board to stop you from making some of these trades.
Mr. Stockman, like Mr. Roseman, had access to the board, reported to the board, could have and did have individual meetings with the board members, had full ability to state his position, his concerns, his comfort.
Right. Of course, you were chairman of the board, so I think I read somewhere that at one point in time you told the board you were considering leaving because they were just coming down on some
Congressman,
of the...
to my recollection, that's not the fact.
Okay. You know, you indicated earlier that these type of situations were consistent with other companies similar. And would you say that type of internal control was similar, that other companies similar would only have the board of directors be able to overrule them?
Congressman,
yes,
I don't really want to speculate, and I don't really know.
Okay. We talked about the significant internal controls over financial reporting given through the Sarbanes-Oxley certifications. Did you sign those on March 31st, June 30th, and September 30th?
I signed them on period. I think actually the time frame is later than that when the auditors come back with.
Did you believe MF Global had sufficient internal controls over financial reporting given the breach of segregated funds that occurred subsequent to that? I mean, did you believe that when you signed those?
When I signed those agreements or those certifications, I believed we had the policy and procedures and people in place. And as I have said, there are no significant notices either from regulators or others that I had noticed with regard to those controls.
So you believe that you were being truthful with your auditors when you signed the Sarbanes-Oxley certifications and assured investors and regulators of the adequacy of internal controls over financial reporting. You believe that when you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My time is up.